we're tracking developments around the Pokrovsk sector, where Ukrainian forces have reportedly inflicted substantial damage on Russian positions, with intelligence sources suggesting casualties that could reshape the tactical landscape of the Donbass region. Our comprehensive OSINT analysis confirms multiple intelligence reports indicating Russian forces have suffered significant casualties in the Pokrovsk area throughout October, with losses potentially exceeding 2,000 personnel and dozens of armored vehicles. The sector, located approximately 50 kilometers northwest of Donetsk city, represents a critical transportation hub serving as a vital logistics node for Russian operations across the Donetsk region. Ukrainian forces have successfully targeted Russian supply convoys, command posts, and troop concentrations using a combination of precision artillery, drone strikes, and special operations raids. The tactical success stems from Ukraine's ability to integrate real-time intelligence from multiple sources, including NATO-provided surveillance systems and domestic reconnaissance networks. Military analysts note that these losses occurred during a critical period when Russian forces were attempting to establish defensive positions for the winter campaign season. The disruption of these preparations could have lasting implications for Russian operational capabilities throughout the coming months. Military experts point to Ukraine's evolved drone strategy as a decisive factor in these losses. Ukrainian forces have successfully integrated commercial off-the-shelf drones, particularly the DJI Mavic series, with military-grade payloads, including droppable grenades and explosive charges. This cost-effective approach has created a significant force multiplier against Russian armored vehicles and personnel concentrations. The successful employment of Switchblade loitering munitions supplied by the United States has proven particularly effective against Russian command posts and communication hubs. These systems allow Ukrainian operators to identify, track, and destroy high-value targets with precision while maintaining operator safety. Foreign military observers confirm the presence of advanced Western artillery systems, including the M142 HIMARS and M270 MLRs, playing crucial roles in deep strike operations against Russian logistics hubs and command facilities. The precision guidance systems on these platforms have enabled Ukrainian forces to neutralize Russian assets with minimal collateral damage. The integration of NATO standard communication systems has dramatically improved Ukrainian battlefield coordination. Real-time intelligence sharing between units has enabled rapid response to Russian movements, creating a tactical advantage that Russian forces have struggled to counter. The success of Ukrainian operations in the Pokrovsk sector highlights the critical importance of intelligence gathering in modern warfare. Ukrainian forces have demonstrated sophisticated use of open-source intelligence, combining satellite imagery analysis with social media monitoring to track Russian troop movements and supply line vulnerabilities. NATO intelligence sharing has provided Ukrainian forces with access to real-time surveillance data from multiple satellite constellations, including commercial Earth observation satellites. This capability has enabled Ukrainian planners to identify Russian positions and movements with unprecedented accuracy. Electronic intelligence gathering has played a crucial role in disrupting Russian communications. Ukrainian forces, supported by Western electronic warfare specialists, have successfully intercepted Russian military communications, providing valuable insights into Russian tactical plans and operational vulnerabilities. The use of human intelligence sources within Russian-controlled territory has provided additional verification of battlefield reports. These sources, often local civilians or disgruntled Russian soldiers, have contributed to a comprehensive intelligence picture that has guided Ukrainian tactical decisions. These developments represent a significant shift in the tactical landscape of eastern Ukraine, with implications extending far beyond the immediate battlefield. Russian forces, already stretched thin across multiple operational theaters, from Kharkiv to Kherson, face renewed pressure in a sector they previously considered relatively secure. The losses around Pokrovsk have forced Russian military leadership to consider force reallocation from other critical sectors. Intelligence assessments suggest Russia may need to withdraw approximately 3,000 to 5,000 troops from relatively stable positions to reinforce the Pokrovsk sector, potentially creating opportunities for Ukrainian advances in other areas. Military analysts believe these losses may trigger a broader Russian tactical retreat in the Eastern theater. The interconnected nature of frontline logistics means that losses in one sector can cascade across multiple operational areas, particularly when supply lines become compromised. The psychological impact on Russian forces cannot be understated. These losses represent a significant blow to Russian military morale, particularly among conscripted personnel who were promised a quick and decisive victory. Reports of Russian soldiers refusing orders and desertion attempts have increased following these defeats. From a broader geopolitical perspective, these developments occur at a critical juncture in international support for Ukraine. While Western military aid continues flowing to Kiev, increasing domestic political pressures in supporting nations create uncertainty about long-term commitment levels. The timing of this Ukrainian success could prove crucial in maintaining Western military aid commitments, particularly as several European nations approach electoral cycles where public opinion on Ukraine's support may influence policy decisions. The demonstrated effectiveness of Western-supplied weapons systems provides compelling evidence for continued military assistance. Russian military leadership faces mounting pressure from domestic audiences who have been consuming state-controlled media narratives of inevitable victory and superior Russian military capability. These losses represent a significant challenge to that narrative and may force tactical adjustments across multiple operational theaters. The involvement of international volunteers and foreign military contractors highlights the evolving nature of modern conflict, where traditional distinctions between regular and irregular forces become increasingly blurred. This trend has significant implications for future military planning and international law, particularly regarding the legal status of foreign fighters in armed conflicts. From a broader geopolitical perspective, these developments occur at a critical juncture in international support for Ukraine. While Western military aid continues flowing to Kiev, increasing domestic political pressures in supporting nations create uncertainty about long-term commitment levels. The timing of this Ukrainian success could prove crucial in maintaining Western military aid commitments, particularly as several European nations approach electoral cycles where public opinion on Ukraine's support may influence policy decisions. The demonstrated effectiveness of Western-supplied weapons systems provides compelling evidence for continued military assistance. Russian military leadership faces mounting pressure from domestic audiences who have been consuming state-controlled media narratives of inevitable victory and superior Russian military capability. These losses represent a significant challenge to that narrative and may force tactical adjustments across multiple operational theaters. The involvement of international volunteers and foreign military contractors highlights the evolving nature of modern conflict, where traditional distinctions between regular and irregular forces become increasingly blurred. This trend has significant implications for future military planning and international law, particularly regarding the legal status of foreign fighters in armed conflicts. China's response to these developments remains closely watched by military analysts worldwide. Beijing's position on the Ukraine conflict, while officially neutral, shows signs of concern about the implications of Russian military weakness for broader geopolitical stability in Eastern Europe. Technology continues to play a decisive role in this conflict, with both sides investing heavily in advanced military systems and countermeasures. Ukrainian forces have demonstrated remarkable adaptability in integrating Western-supplied weapons systems with domestically developed solutions, creating hybrid platforms that often exceed original design specifications. The successful employment of precision-guided munitions against high-value targets has forced Russian forces to disperse and hide critical assets, significantly reducing operational efficiency. Russian attempts to adapt by employing mobile command posts and decoy installations have been partially successful, but at considerable cost to operational effectiveness. Electronic warfare capabilities have emerged as a decisive factor, with both sides deploying sophisticated systems designed to disrupt enemy communications and navigation. The cyber dimension of this conflict extends beyond traditional military boundaries, affecting civilian infrastructure and information systems across multiple countries. The role of artificial intelligence in target identification and battle management has become increasingly prominent. Ukrainian forces have successfully implemented AI-powered systems for drone swarm coordination and real-time threat assessment, providing tactical advantages that were unavailable just 2 years ago. Satellite communication systems have proven both vital and vulnerable. While Ukrainian forces benefit from Western satellite networks, Russian cyber attacks against satellite infrastructure have created new domains of conflict that extend far beyond the immediate battlefield. As winter approaches, both sides face critical logistical challenges that will significantly impact operational capabilities. Ukrainian forces have successfully disrupted Russian winter preparation efforts, including fuel depot construction, ammunition storage, and troop shelter establishment. Russian logistics systems, already strained by corruption and poor planning, face additional pressure from Ukrainian interdiction operations. Reports suggest Russian forces are experiencing fuel shortages that could severely limit mobility during winter operations when vehicle performance and heating requirements increase dramatically. Ukrainian forces, supported by Western logistical expertise, appear better prepared for winter operations. The integration of NATO standard cold weather equipment and winter camouflage has enhanced Ukrainian operational capabilities, while Russian forces continue to struggle with equipment shortages. The strategic importance of energy infrastructure has become increasingly apparent as both sides target power generation and distribution systems. These attacks have implications far beyond military operations, affecting civilian populations and international perceptions of the conflict. Military analysts are monitoring several potential scenarios for the coming months. The most likely outcome involves continued Ukrainian pressure on Russian positions, while Russia attempts to stabilize defensive lines through force reallocation and enhanced fortification efforts. A second scenario involves potential Russian escalation, including increased missile attacks against Ukrainian civilian infrastructure, and potential attempts to open new fronts to relieve pressure on eastern Ukraine. Such actions would carry significant risks of international intervention and further isolation. The possibility of diplomatic initiatives cannot be ruled out, particularly if Russian losses continue at current rates. However, current political dynamics in Moscow suggest that leadership may prefer military escalation to diplomatic compromise that could be perceived as weakness. International observers will closely monitor whether these losses prompt changes in Russian nuclear doctrine or strategic messaging. Any indication of potential nuclear escalation would likely trigger immediate international diplomatic intervention and potentially military responses from NATO nations. The economic dimension of the conflict continues to evolve, with sanctions' impact becoming more pronounced in Russian military procurement and maintenance capabilities. These pressures may force Russia to prioritize certain military objectives, while abandoning others deemed less critical. These losses represent a significant moment in the ongoing conflict, with implications extending far beyond the immediate tactical situation and potentially reshaping the strategic balance in Eastern Europe. The integration of advanced technology, international cooperation, and tactical innovation demonstrated by Ukrainian forces provides valuable insights for military planners worldwide. These lessons will likely influence defense strategies and military procurement decisions across multiple nations. The developments we've discussed today represent a significant shift in the tactical and strategic landscape of this conflict. Remember to like this video if you found our analysis valuable, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What factors do you believe will be most decisive in the coming winter campaign? Subscribe for more defense intelligence and military analysis.